How's it going, morons? Diabloceratops trail cam dropped April 1st, right? Pretty cool. But then right at the end of it, it showed something I don't think anybody expected, really. If you go back and look at the trail cam, there's a looming shadow just kind of emerging from out of camera, and it's approaching the dead body that the raptors had left behind. When I had posted about the Diabloceratops trail cam in itself, at first I didn't really think much of it. I just assumed it was a Rex. I didn't really look at the shadow too much, and I was like, oh, cool. But since then, there has been a lot of arguments, debates, whether what this thing actually is. Because if you do take a closer look, it has quite large crests over its eyes, or where its eyes would be. Rex doesn't really have those. You could argue that it does have little bumps over its head, that it could resemble crests at a certain angle, but I think that's a bit far-fetched, and I don't think it would look like that under certain light conditions. And if you take a look to where the camera kind of cuts out, you can see much longer arms proportionally to the body. And depending what some people saw or didn't see, people are saying, yeah, the arms are really short, but some people are also saying, yeah, the arms look really large. So what is it then? If the arms are on the shorter end, you could argue it's an Allosaurus, which personally that's what I'm leaning towards, because look at the crests, look at the arms. I feel like if it was a Rex, the shadow would be a lot larger. But then the third creature that's coming into the argument is Albertosaurus. Albertosaurus is known for its crests as well, and although it does have the crests above the eyes, they are pointed forward. But if you look at the shadows where they're coming from the back right of the camera, and depending where the creature is standing, the light wouldn't make those forward crests quite visible if it was standing in the correct spot. So I'm not going to completely rule out Albertosaurus just for that one consideration. Another argument you can make for the Albertosaurus is that it was actually featured in Stego's concept art in the dev blog from last month. Keep in mind, the Diabloceratops in the video is a rotting corpse. The raptors didn't finish eating it. There's still a good amount of body left to eat, but I don't think they would have left the body if there was that much to eat, so it must have gone bad and they just left. And if you take a look at Albertosaurus' concept art, you can actually see it going after rotten corpses. It seems like it'd be a pretty big part of its niche. But also take into consideration that they have not mentioned anything about Albertosaurus' development prior to this, other than they're not working on it. They already have a good amount of playables lined up. Kenshiro, Barry, Ostro, Myosaurus, everything that was on the living roadmap. And on top of that, we have Rex and Shrike seeming to move very fast at this rate, and we could honestly get Rex and Shrike within the next few months. And now for my personal opinion on what the shadow actually is, I'm actually leaning towards Allosaurus at this point. Now before I even start talking about the shadow for this one, I'm just gonna have you listen to this thing. And if you've played Legacy, that actually sounds like the Allosaurus F-call, or just like an Allosaurus idle grumbling sound. And I do understand some people are saying the footsteps are kind of loud and hefty, so I could see people mistaking that for a larger creature, but many other creatures in the game already, like Carno, Cerato, already kind of make pretty loud footsteps. And I feel like if it was a Rex, these footsteps would be a lot louder and would be shaking the camera even. And back to Allosaurus, the crest, the large arms, the sound it making resembling the Allosaurus from Legacy a lot. And my favorite example of somebody explaining why it's Allosaurus has to be this one right here. This comment definitely nailed it in for me that this is Allosaurus, and I'm pretty confident it is. We already know Rex is on its way. It would be pointless to show it off in this way. Which is reasonable, but they have teased things that we already know, like, all about, just to make, like, a big deal out of it, make it seem cool. Pounce to pin mechanic is coming, and it'll most likely be the base for Allo's grapple. So if you've seen the Allo's concept art, one of its main mechanics, it's gonna be similar to Omniraptor's Pounce, but not in, like, a jumping sense, but more grabbing onto something and dragging it down. We already know Pounce to pin is coming, and it's going to be a huge mechanic, and I'm sure it's going to be used for more playables in the future. And what better playable to make the best use of it than Allo's grapple? Being able to grab larger herbivores with your pack mates and just dragging them to the ground and eating them alive. And moving on, Allo is the perfect size carnivore to be added after playables like Dibble, Maya, and Kentro. It would make sense for Allo to be present in the next living roadmap update. Once all the dinos in this living roadmap are done and out, I assume we'll start seeing the scale of dinosaurs being added being much larger. We're moving on from small, medium playables, and we're moving into large, medium territory. Things like Baryonyx, Allosaurus, Suchomimus, Acrocanthosaurus, Albertosaurus. And I can honestly see Triceratops being a very good guinea pig for Allosaurus's grapple as well. So, we will see. That's going to be it for now, guys. What do you think the shadow is? Let me know in the comments. Do you think it's Rex, Allo, Alberto, or something else we haven't mentioned that we haven't taken into consideration yet? And I'll see you next time. Peace.